Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today and joining us for our Monday morning meditation. So good to have you here. I wanted to share a picture with you this morning, and I wasn't able to get it from my phone to my email in a workable format on my computer today. So I'm going to share a different one, but um, just want to set it up to talk about the expansion of our awareness that happens when we meditate on a regular basis. You know, meditation is awesome for being very soothing to the mind body system. It's wonderful for um, lots of health reasons, calming the heart rate and relaxing the muscles, and all those things are very important part of de-stressing and kind of letting everything move through the body. And it's also at the same time working on expanding our awareness. So we tune into our intuition more readily as we meditate, and we are expanded. And I was with a friend this weekend on a trip to Sarasota, Florida, just a little ways from where I live. And we were staying in this big hotel near the water, and we could see when we looked out the windows, we could see just, buildings. There's a building on one side that was being built, so we could watch the workers there as they were doing their thing over the weekend. And then beyond, a couple of parking lots and a couple of buildings on either side, we could see the water, the Gulf, and it was so beautiful. We could just see forever. And when we went down to the restaurant, there were windows everywhere. So we had even a wider perspective of the water all around. And as we were talking, I just felt like my self expanding, like reaching out through the room we were sitting in and beyond, because my eyes could see that expanse of the water, and I just felt like my energy going there as well. And it reminded me of another picture that I had taken on an airplane when I was on the way to Nashville to visit my parents, and that's the one I'm going to share with you today. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit, so I want to have it up here so you can see it too. So this was on the airplane, obviously, and I was just looking down and just seeing, like, oh my gosh, if you have ever heard that song by Bette Midler, From a Distance, right? God is watching us from a distance. I don't really believe God is far away, or a higher power, whatever you want to call it, is far away. I believe it's inside of us and all around us. But I was thinking of that song, and it's like, oh, this is what that song means, because from this space we can see all the little houses, and we know in each of those houses is a person at least, or a family. And as I was flying over them, they were doing their thing. It was a Saturday, and they were doing their Saturday thing. Maybe they were out of the house on a picnic. Maybe they were inside getting lunch together. But we can look at those houses and just see that there's a story going on in each of those homes. And then we look on the right side, and there's a road going along, and we can see a few cars down there, tiny as they are, but they've got somebody getting inside, going somewhere. And there's a story going on with them. Maybe they're in their heads. Maybe they're feeling frustrated today. Maybe they're happy about where they're going. They're glad it's Saturday. Whatever their story is. It doesn't have to be a happy story. It just is what it is, right? And from this distance, we don't have to be attached to the story, positive or difficult. We don't have to be attached to the story. We're just watching it. And this is what it's like for our observer self within us. As we meditate, we're developing that observer self. We're watching our thoughts go by. We're watching, so to speak, the sensations in our body, and not getting attached to them. So this is just kind of a different perspective on that, which we are practicing during meditation. We are practicing looking at ourselves from a distance, from that observer self, where we're not tussling with whatever emotion is coming up. We're not tussling with whatever story is coming up. We're not getting involved in it. We're just going, yep, there's a story there, but I don't have to get involved in it. It's not really my story. And it really isn't. Even if it has to do with my life, it's not my story. It's just the words that my mind is coming up with to place on that story. And I don't have to go into that house. That's not a house I need to go in. So we just let it go. And so I'm just going to keep this picture up. It's maybe not the prettiest picture in the world. It's certainly, I have to say, it's not as pretty as the picture that I wish I could have posted here for us today. But just to give you an idea of like what is that like? What mind standpoint should I have during meditation? This is it. Like all those little thoughts are little houses and little cars going by, and your presence, your awareness is above, looking over and not getting attached to any of those thoughts coming through. So that's what we're focusing on today. Just not getting involved in the mind stories. So if you're not already comfortable in your room, in your chairs, then I invite you to get comfortable now. And we start with a couple of deep breaths to help our mind body system transition. Just feel yourself withdrawing from the stories, the little houses in your mind, and being lifted up, up, up. Feel the stories at your feet. Just let yourself observe them, notice them, but not walk into them. That seat of higher awareness is really the heart center. It's a connection of many things, but we can work with a heart center as our resting place. And if your heart center doesn't feel like you're able to sit and look out over all those thoughts and feelings and sensations, then notice where in your body does feel that. Maybe it's your seat in the chair, or you're sitting on a cloud looking down at all those thoughts and stories. Maybe it's your back resting against your chair, just being able to let go and not be involved in those stories and lean back and relax. And check in with your breathing to making sure that it's moving in and out smoothly from the belly or the diaphragm rather than from your chest. We can go to the quick breath that we've used in the past of breathing into the count of 4, letting that belly expand as you breathe in, breathing out to the count of 4, and feeling the belly naturally relax toward the spine. No need to force it. It'll do it on its own when your breath is gently being moved by the diaphragm instead of the chest muscles. That's a very calming, relaxing breath. So let's focus on that breath for just a couple of minutes. Get it into a rhythm that's supporting our viewpoint here. Breathing in to the count of 4. Breathing out to the count of 4. No need to hold the breath. No need to worry about in through the nose or out through the mouth or anything. Just simply in to the count of 4. And out to the count of 4. Keep repeating this. And maybe you notice your body relaxing. Keep focusing on your breath until it's coming into that count of 4 and exhaling to the count of 4 more naturally. Not that it has to be exact, it does not. But you'll know when you can not count, when your breathing is just taking over and it's feeling that rhythm of 4 in, 4 out, all on its own. And when your breathing is calm, and let yourself just sit in that higher vision, detached from those thought houses below. the emotion cars dipping in and out. But just watching them with compassion and love and maybe a little amusement. But we're just letting them be. And if you get caught up in a story, you find yourself entering the home of a thought process, just gently bow out of the house, resume your viewpoint up in the sky, looking down, not down in a condescending way, just looking from a vaster perspective. So that was an interesting trip into that house. From up here, I can just watch. From up here, we can see the beauty, the rhythm, the purpose. We can see that all things are moving forward. They don't need our over management. They don't need us intruding. We just watch. Let them be. And you can even stretch your viewpoint, knowing that it goes on and on, all, all around the world, back again, looking out over the ocean and not seeing an end to it, feeling the expansion of that water that mirrors so beautifully the expansion of our awareness. Sometimes when we're first discovering that greater part of ourselves, that part of us that can expand through the infinite ocean, we think that there's a false belief there that as we expand, everything cooperates with us, people, places, things, situations, and conforms to our desires or will. But what really happens is that we are able to flow with what is. And being in that flow is much more rewarding, whether we can see it right now or not. It's much more rewarding than having our way. But first, we have to practice staying out of the houses of our thoughts that go back and forth and tell us one thing one minute and the opposite thing the next minute. Stay out of our emotions, the cars of our emotions that will drive us places that we don't really want to go. But from this place, where we can see where the emotions want to go, but we don't have to go with them. We don't have to let them take us anywhere. We can stay right here. Just watch them pass, those impulses, those waves of emotion. And just let them drive right on by. It's okay. And this week, whenever we feel stuck in a thought house and its story, we can just remind ourselves that now we don't have to be here. Let's go sit on our cloud. Let's take some steps back and up. See if we can see that house differently. We feel the racing sensation of emotion. We can just notice it and say, okay, but I can let this drive itself through, but I don't have to be in the car. I can watch, I can breathe. My answer is not in the car. My answer comes from this higher perspective, not trying to stop the car, just not strapping myself to it. So if you are needing to end our meditation time with me this morning, I invite you to take a deep breath and help your mind-body system change gears. And if you have time to meditate more, please do. I'm going to take the picture off my screen. Don't want that to be too jarring. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this meditation and adding your altitude to our viewpoint. Thank you for being here today. I invite you to really practice with this week. Noticing if you're in a house or a car. Are you in a thought house or an emotion car? And just notice. And when you notice that, just go, okay, I'm gonna float up and look down over that and go, this is a different perspective. Let me hang out with this different perspective before I take action on anything. And just work with that and see what happens. And let me know. I would love to hear about it. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.